Hi guys, it's Karen, and I am back again with a very special guest. I'm so excited to have you here, Amanda, because I need you. I need you personally. So Amanda is a money confidence coach, which is something I think a lot of us struggle with, and we don't even know we struggle with it. So I'm going to let you kind of explain what you do, how you got into it, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I am excited to be able to talk to your
Yes.
audience because as we were just talking about, it's not necessarily my typical one, but I love how my teachings literally can go across the board because if you have a solid foundation for your finances, you can pivot anywhere, regardless of what age you are or anything. So a little bit about me is my background is I am a nurse. So I am a registered nurse. And about a year after getting out of college and my husband getting his big kid job, as I call him, we finally took control of our finances. And we were in our late 20s. So still early. Many of you are probably like, oh, you're good.
Right.
But
No.
honestly, we wasted so much time and we weren't taught these things. We weren't taught financial literacy, how to handle your money, or even just to pay attention to like what things are happening or what you're thinking about it. And so we made the pivot then to really be intentional and to be mindful of our money. And that was key in making all the changes that we did. So we ended up getting out of consumer debt. We ended up creating a hefty savings for ourselves, which, we never had an emergency fund before, but now we've had an emergency fund for 5 years and never touched it. So it's amazing that when you create a plan, you literally can make things happen in your life that you never thought possible. And we, through that journey, I learned that as a nurse, I wanted to help people and I wanted to help them with their finances because I love preventative health. So to be able to prevent money stress for people was so important for me. And so I started financial coaching, and that eventually led to money mindset coaching or money confidence coaching, as you call it. And that's really building your confidence around your money so that you can do whatever financial goal, whatever goals really you have in life. And that includes retirement because you've got to plan early, which is what so many of us have not been taught.
Well, and I think the key there is that we haven't been taught. We haven't been told to do these things. And when you and I initially talked before, I told you I'm just now learning to have that money mindset where money wasn't discussed in my family. And I knew we didn't have a lot of it growing up. And that was really it. No one ever talked about preparing or savings or taxes or how to set myself up with, like you said, a solid foundation. So let's talk first for somebody that is, there's so many elements obviously in midlife, because not only are we starting to move towards retirement for some people, we're also dealing with launching adult children, but also taking care of aging parents. Obviously, divorce is very common during this time. I think that's where now that I'm going through my own midlife crisis, I kind of understand it, where we start to learn about ourselves. And now, I've got divorced girlfriends that are working with, how am I doing this on my own? So there's obviously a lot of changes in our 50s, 60s. Let's go mid 40s, 50s, maybe early 60s. Is it too late for us?
Gosh, no. Gosh, no. And the fact that you even asked that, like it's such a common question. So unfortunately, people think the answer is like, oh yeah, it's too late, let me go. Like, and it's not the case. You absolutely can gain confidence with your money regardless of what age you are. And whether that's, just finding money in your budget, whether it's just feeling secure with what you've got and creating a plan to get you to the end of your life, even if it's not what, the general retirement plan is, because, they always say time is on your side when you're younger. Well, it's not, I mean, it is true, time helps, but it doesn't mean that you're a lost cause.
Right. Okay. That's always good to know. And I think we have to get away from that concept of what retirement is going to look like and really redefine what we're envisioning for ourselves. And I tell people all the time, when it comes to fitness and nutrition, you've got to have a plan. And I don't think until, up until maybe 10 years ago, did I even think I got to have a plan for my money. Like I just assumed it was just going to be there and I was just going to have it. And
Yeah, it
so,
shows up every month, right?
right. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to keep regenerating it. So, are there any tips for somebody in this age group? Like, what is one thing? Where should we start? Let's just start there. What's the first thing that I can do now to start moving in the right direction?
Yeah. So there's tangible things and then there's intangible things that you can do. And the things that I teach my clients, which span, every decade,
Mhm.
is if you know your values, if you know what your goals are, and not just money goals, but all your goals in life, and you know why you're doing this, like what is your purpose? And then you look at the tangible thing, the money. If
Okay.
you know those three things, and then you look at your money, you're going to be able to say, is that is my spending, is that serving me? Is it going towards reaching these three things and getting me to where I want to be? And so that is the foundation that I create
Okay.
for
Yeah.
everybody.
So really starting with a little bit of self-inventory,
Oh, yeah.
just like we do when we're setting health and fitness goals, what is your why? Does this align with your why? Are you doing things every day that's moving you closer? It's the same thing with your pocketbook.
It absolutely
Okay.
is. I think once you can master that in one area of your life, you can absolutely master it in other areas. So people who have taken the health journey and they've really transformed themselves,
Mhm.
it's even easier because you translate that and all you have to do is replace fitness or diet or health or, all of that with all the money terms.
Right.
And then you're able to work on your mind. You're able to compare it and you see the benefits for yourself because you've been through it.
And I think the hardest thing, and you probably get this all the time, is people aren't exposed to money necessarily. Like it's not always a positive experience. Most people
Oh yeah.
come from a very negative or scared experience, and they just don't get it. They don't understand the value of it, and they don't understand that they are actually in control of it. I know for me, it's taken some time to figure that out.
Yeah. No, and you make a really good point. Scarcity is a huge mindset when it comes to money. Like, you were talking about your past with money. Mine is that I knew my parents didn't have money. I was very aware from a very early age that my parents didn't have enough money to do the things that I wanted. So I wouldn't ask, or
Oh,
I would work to make those things happen for myself. But that created stories in my head that oh, I can't spend money, or I don't have enough. I need to hoard money. I need to,
oh yeah.
also created, thoughts about, oh, I just want to be better than my parents because they were so stressed and they always fought. I never want to fight about money. But it's funny because I thought those things, but without intentionality and mindfulness, I was literally living their reality with a higher income. So my parents were, middle class, but me and my husband, we were upper middle class. And when we got out of school, we were making $150,000. It was all gone.
Yeah.
We spent every penny every month. And until we took control, we
Right.
started paying attention.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you make, doesn't matter anything. Your mind is going to do whatever you are comfortable with, those stories and those thoughts that you've ingrained in your mind for 45, 60 years,
Right.
however long you've been alive. And if you haven't worked on those thoughts and those stories, nothing's going to change for good.
Yeah. And I think it is important to look at that, because like I said, going through my own journey with money and learning to value myself and learning to value money, I never put the connection of how my parents spoke about money or how I felt about money, and how it reflected my own personal habits. And so, yeah, doing that internal work, and I mean, we're always a work in progress. So doing that internal work really made a huge difference. And then I was able to understand, okay, this is why you feel this way, but it's not really valid. Like there's nothing that's supporting this. It's the story that you're telling yourself. And
Yeah.
so addressing that. So obviously we both have the experience that we weren't really told anything, but now we have the opportunity. I know you have a little one, right? One?
Oh. I've got three kids in the house and four at home, four total.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you have four of them. I have three, all different ages, all different stages in their life. But how do we prepare them better than we were prepared?
Oh, I think one of the biggest things, and it's absolutely one of my values that I hold dear, is honesty. And
Mm-hmm.
then on top of that, communication. And so obviously, depending on your kiddo's age and everything, there's a degree of honesty that we talk about, like, just openness in the conversations. Like, you don't have to, if you're a millionaire, you're like telling your kindergartner you're a millionaire probably isn't going to like be the right route. But but if you have open, honest communication and just conversations in general about money, imagine where our kids will be
Right.
compared to where it wasn't talked about in our house unless it
Yeah.
was an argument, or
Yes.
you just didn't talk about it. Like, if that's the only thing we can give them, it's just an open, honest,
Mm-hmm.
communication or conversation. Like, I might not be able to like prepare them in every single way, but that's going to open up so many different doors for them.
Yeah. That is huge. It is huge. Um, okay. So financial planners, are they only for the wealthy? Like if I'm 18, okay, let's say I'm not 18, I'll go a little bit older. Let's say I'm 23, I have a pretty decent job. Do I get a financial planner?
Okay. It's a loaded question. You might need one, you might not. And
Okay.
that's the thing. So I think where you start is to educate yourself about what you want. And I think those three things that I talked about before
Yeah.
for, your older clients, they absolutely reign true for everybody. And so the
Mhm.
younger generation too, the ones you want to teach for your kids. It's not that you need a financial planner. It's if that fits in your life and that's a service you want, because it's
Right.
a service, you pay them, even though it doesn't seem like it,
Right.
you pay them. Or do you want to figure out what they do and do it yourself? You can absolutely do that too.
That is the other thing I was going to say. Do we need a financial planner, or do we just sometimes need to understand what these terms represent? Because I think
Oh gosh, yeah.
it's so
Do you
much
know how many
like,
times I've been called a financial planner?
I don't, but I can help you. But I think you are right. Like if you educate yourself on some of this stuff, you can do it yourself. And I think people are so scared about, you know, just getting their hands dirty with that and thinking they're going to mess it up.
Oh
Um,
yeah. You really can't. I mean, something else that I always tell my clients is life is constantly trial and error. You are figuring out what's best for you. Whether something goes right or whether something goes wrong, you have learned something, and
right.
that is valuable. And so, yes, we can put our money into investments. It's like my husband went into some crypto and we laugh about it now, but now we know we don't want to do that.
Right.
And for other people, that absolutely works for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so to each their own, when you say personal finance, it is so personal.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do the work, if you don't want to do, I literally dove into what do I need to do to learn how to handle my personal finances for like 2 years. I would take every book out of the library and read it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to do that, go find somebody that has done that work and condenses it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if your jam is to go and read and educate yourself and be a continuous learner, then just chuck financial, planning or financial literacy into those categories where you check out books from the library or download them from Audible, and you just learn. And you don't have to apply everything. You're going to find what works best for you.
Yeah. No, that is very, very good advice, because we have so much access, YouTube videos and books and,
Oh, yeah.
workshops that people have posted or whatever it is. And so we do have the access to actually learn and do this ourselves. Is it as complicated as everybody makes it out to be?
No, no. A lot of the times I tell my clients, like, you literally can find everything I'm going to teach you on the internet, but they don't come to me to just necessarily learn. They're
Right.
getting an individualized plan
Right.
and they're getting it tailored to them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also getting somebody who has, they don't have to go and get all of the knowledge. They just want to know what's best for them. And so I vet that for them.
Right. And that's a lot of, I say the same thing about health and fitness and
Oh,
menopause.
yeah.
Everything I'm telling you is already out there. There's nothing new.
Yes.
We're not reinventing the wheel. However, I can put it in a step-by-step format for you that makes more sense, so that you're not
Mhm.
trying to pick and choose and put it all together. And so it's the same thing, is I can guide you. I'm just here to guide you. So
You say that, and it's funny because it's easier to talk to people and say like, okay, there's a million different fad diets and ways that you need to exercise, and I've looked at it all,
right.
and if this is who you are, this is my suggestion. Let's
Right.
have a conversation, make sure it's going to fit for you and your lifestyle. But it's funny because for you, health and fitness and wellness, all of that, people are good. They talk about it. They, casually have conversations. You don't casually ask people like, hey, what are you making this year? How much do you have in your
saving?
401k?
Yes. What's your profile look like? Yes. That's so funny. You're right. It is very hush hush, and everybody's curious, but nobody wants to talk about it.
I love talking about it. But me and my husband are very different people. And I'm like, we have to tell people like what we've done in the last 5 years is freaking amazing. And I'm so excited. And he's like, hold on, you want to put our numbers on the internet? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, no. And so I have to be very, vague, because it's not just about me.
Right.
It's about us. But so in my workaround, like I try to make sure that people know, like, we went from a negative net worth to like, we're getting closer to 7 digits, yo. And like, all we did was we changed our minds about where we wanted to be, and we made a plan to make it happen.
Yeah. Having that plan is absolutely key.
Okay. I know the plan changes, like it will adjust as life adjusts.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, the same thing, we don't love the things that we loved when we were 20. And so of course it's going to evolve. It's going to change as your resources change, as your lifestyle changes, the people around you, their lives change, because sometimes that does affect us. Okay. So, really, there's so much help that you can provide, whether it's women my age or women and men, but women my age that are like, I need to make sure that I am set up for the future. That's one way to assist. But also for those of us that may not feel like we're confident enough to guide our children, you're also there to help with that money mindset for our own children that we can. Okay, that's perfect. I love that. So I'm going to share all of Amanda's information, where you can find Amanda and connect with her, and how she can help you and your family work with creating, that dream of whatever it is that your retirement goals are, or your current lifestyle goals are, that align with you, not with social media. for yourself. Anything else you want to share before we wrap it up?
No, I think just to piggyback what you just said, everybody's dream and goal of financial freedom looks different.
Yeah.
And you really can't compare yourself to others, because what you think might make you happy may not move the needle for you at all. And so to find what truly, brings you joy, the things that matter to you, that are going to make you feel like you have a fulfilled life. Yeah. Before you even touch your numbers, it's so important to figure out what that is, and figure out what that is for this season of life, because it will evolve. Right. But just focus on the here and now.
Perfect. I love that, because I wouldn't even have thought about it. I would have jumped directly to numbers and not even thought about, well, what is it that I really am envisioning for myself and my husband in the next, 30 years? And how do we want to share that? Or do we want to share that with our kids? Or do we take it all ourselves? So no, that's really good information. Okay. Thank you, Amanda, so much for joining us. And I will share all your information so they can find you and get those questions answered. I appreciate your time. It was great having you, and I will definitely talk to you more about that. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us.